Before God blesses you with marriage, this usually happens. So we're going to talk about it, but before we do.
And we're Terrence and Jill of God-Ordained Union, and we're here to do one thing and one thing only, and that is to help increase God-Ordained unions.
Yes. So if you're single and you desire to be married, not just be married to anybody, because that can happen to anybody. We're talking about your person. You are definitely on the right channel. We are your encouragers, your cheerleaders, and we just want to do our little part in encouraging you and inspiring you through our testimony that marriage is for you. If you desire it, God wants it for you, and it is yours. The thing is that the enemy is also on his assignment to keep you from it, which we're going to talk about tonight. But yeah, you're on the right channel. We always say, if you came across this channel, God is already working. He's working it out on your behalf. And so welcome to our channel. We understand how you feel. We know that you've been feeling like you're waiting for a long time, even if you're just 30. We know what that feels like, because we were in the waiting room.
Some of you probably feeling like you've been waiting so long that God doesn't even listen to you anymore. Some of you feeling like you've done something in the past and you feel that disqualifies you. Some of you think that, you know what, I haven't forgiven myself, so I don't even deserve it.
Mm-hmm. Or you may be feeling like, well, maybe God just doesn't want me to be married. We've been there right before we met each other. That's what we were thinking. And so we know how you feel. We ain't just saying this, from this point, we're married and, we've been there. We know what it feels like. I was 52 when I walked down the aisle. 52
when I watched her walk down the aisle.
Never been married, never had any children, and wondering what was going on in my life. And so the Lord began to reveal some things to me. Here you have it, almost 4 years of marriage. And so we're here to share some things with you. And so, please subscribe. Please turn on your notifications. Please comment. We read the comments as much as we can. We try to get in the comments and read the comments. And again, to encourage you. Now, we just released a new ebook for 2026. We just released a new ebook. And so if you are one of those women, because this is for women, if you are like, why I'm not attracting godly men? Because it's one thing, to get married, but it's another thing where you feel like you ain't even being seen. This ebook is specifically for you. So you can go to our website, GodOrdainedUnion.com, and go download it, or you can go into the description and download it. This ebook, I wrote it specifically for those who are feeling like you're being unseen, you're being overlooked. What are you doing wrong? What's going on with you? I got you covered. All right, I got you covered. Also, if you want to join our private group, you can do so. You can go to our website at GodOrdainedUnion.com. We meet twice a month, every first and third Tuesday after our live from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's more like a group coaching. You're amongst other people who are in their waiting season, and we talk about some deep topics. And so, please join us to learn all, when we go live and all that great stuff. Go to our website, or you can go down to the description.
Yes.
Anything else?
Yes. I just want to say this. I want to reiterate something that she said earlier, and that is, if you are on this channel right now and you're viewing us right now, then just know that God is already working in the background on your behalf.
Yes.
So that right there in itself should already take you to a whole nother level of excitement, knowing that he's already on it.
Yes, he's already on it. All right. So, and I was going to say something, but I'll wait to talk about it in the commentary. All right. So what's happening is that a lot of things are going on in your life, and it looks opposite of what you're praying for. So you're praying for marriage, you're desiring marriage, but your reality does not look like it. That's by design. That's by design. And so if you don't understand the season and the timing of when things happen in your life, you will always fall for the tricks and schemes of the enemy, and you will delay a thing. And so this is not just for marriage. This is for anytime when God blesses you, when he's taking you to another level, these things usually happen. So we're going to talk about them so that you can know that you are on the right track.
Yeah.
You're on the right track. So, and these things, and we'll talk about how it looked for us personally as well. So, husband, what's the first thing that usually happens when before God blesses someone with marriage?
Before God blesses someone with marriage, you can possibly experience one or multiple of these that I'm about to share with you, and I have 6.
Okay.
I have 6.
Okay.
So the first one is you may experience some spiritual warfare. Now, some of you probably think, what is spiritual warfare? Spiritual warfare is actually when you are basically in a fight for your soul. Okay, that's when you need to understand that we don't war after the flesh. We war after principality.
It's principalities in high places.
So, and with that, you also will can feel some pressure. Okay, you can feel more pressure than usual in that same season, but definitely there is a spiritual warfare going on.
Okay.
And you need to be aware of this, okay? And I'm going to give you an example. In the Bible, Joseph, before Joseph got his promotion, he went to prison. He went to prison. Some people sit there and think, but they don't think about that as spiritual warfare. That's spiritual warfare. Because think about where his mind was thinking, man, I got favor with God, but I'm getting thrown in prison. Think about before he got thrown in prison when his brothers sold him. Think about what that does to the psyche. And you sitting here thinking about your issues you got today. Think about what he went through. Okay, being sold by his own family members and then being in prison. After he overcomes all of that, then getting thrown into prison before he gets his promotion. So spiritual warfare is something else.
Yeah. So how that looks probably looks in your world and how it looked in mine, in my situation. So spiritual warfare, you can tell that it's spiritual war. First of all, that we're, spiritual beings living a human experience. So if you are not tapped into the spirit realm, you are close off a huge part of your life. And so you're either going to walk by the Holy Spirit or the spirit of darkness is going to be controlling you. So in the spiritual warfare, it says there is a fight for your soul, for either the Lord to have his way and his perfect will in your life or for the enemy. And the enemy is working overtime for your soul because he does not want you to be married, because he knows that if you're married, there's purpose behind that. And that increases and advances the kingdom. So spiritual warfare, how that can look, you'll see it on social media. There's so much anti-marriage going on. There's so much people who are flaunting alternative lifestyles. And what that does is that how that warfare affects you, you'll start to second guess yourself. Well, maybe I should do this, or maybe marriage isn't for me, or maybe there aren't any good men in that. And so when you become convinced and your ears are tickled by spiritual warfare, that's what's happening to you. You're in spiritual warfare. It can also look like your ex coming back. That's spiritual warfare. The ex is coming back because there is a war again for your soul. The enemy does not want you to be married. So that it could even look and that's what happened to me. Right before I met Terrence, my ex came back and he was fully married. And I knew that was an indication. When the ex comes back, that is an indication something is going on in the spirit realm. And so, spiritual warfare is big and is also little as well. It's warfare. It's going to try to get you on the massive level as well as on the minute level. Anywhere it can get you to dissuade you, that's what it's going to do. So that's the first thing that happens. Spiritual warfare.
And understand this, the enemy attacks you the hardest when God is about to award something valuable.
When you're about to receive something valuable is when you're going to get attacked the hardest from the enemy. Yes. And so it's nothing to be afraid of, because you know that you chose, that you said, Lord, I choose you.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to know the tricks and schemes of the enemy. You'll be like, okay, you done came with that little, like, really, you gonna bring the ex back? You really gonna bring this loser back when I already got him? But if you're not armored up, you'll begin to entertain. Well, maybe he is the one. Maybe she is the one. Maybe it was a matter of timing. You got to know the tricks and schemes of the enemy, but most importantly, you got to know whose side you on.
Yeah.
So spiritual warfare. Number one.
That was number one.
Number two,
God is going to begin to stretch you. Stretch you. Now, here's what I love about this one is I had to learn that some skills that I've learned in the past that have taken me in my previous seasons, I had to learn that those skills wasn't going to be good enough for the new season that God was taking me into. I had to learn something else. I had to get out my comfort zone and say, I need to pick up a skill set that I've been sitting back saying, I'm going to stay away from this. And you talking about the internet. I had to start learning some stuff, how to do some things on the computer, because I'm one of those people that, look, I can do it with my hands outside and all this other stuff. I'm not a computer person, or I haven't been in the past. I had to settle down and start saying, oh, how am I going to do this? I had to learn a new skill set. So you're going to start to feel like you're out of your comfort zone.
You're out of your comfort zone.
That's the easiest way to explain it. You're going to feel like you're outside of your comfort zone. And what's happening is you're actually being stretched. It said it's time for you to learn something more. You got to learn. You got to take what you did to another level.
And so how it looked for me, the stretching was in two main areas. One was that, of course, my spiritual walk, I fasted more. So where I was, used to eating, especially, and my fasting came on Fridays. So Fridays, it was the end of the week. It was when I, wanted to go home, chill in front of a movie and, chill in front of a movie and have, my good meal on a Friday night. Fridays I had dedicated to fasting. So it caused me to stretch myself in ways which was uncomfortable. Like food was my comfort zone. The other area I was stretched in is my friendships. Where I wanted to go as far as marriage was not conducive to the friendships I had, because most of my friends were single. And so it caused me to, it was an uncomfortable stretch. It also made me feel at times like, like kind of guilty, like maybe I should just stay here. Everybody, misery loves company, and we're all single, never had any children, over 50 or 50, going on 50. And but it caused me to stretch myself where it says, I want to come out of that. I want to expand my friendships. And that was not always a good feeling. As a matter of fact, it cost me a friendship, a very good friendship. It cost me eventually. And so, but there was a stretching that, I started to, I didn't want to stay where I was, but I also was comfortable where I was. So I had to, it caused me to stretch.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because, that also can be characterized as pruning.
Okay.
And sometimes in the pruning, what God will do is God will actually take some people out your life because he has to make room for the new. So you can possibly lose some friendships, some associates, some business, but whatever it is, you may lose some. And it's not because you're a bad person or this or that, but you sometimes have to make room for what God has for you. Right. And you just have too much going on right now. So God has to take the time to prune you to say, okay, let me help you trim some of this off so we can make room for this right here that I have for you.
Also, let me just say about the stretching. It also caused me to. So, for those of you who are new, don't really know this story, but I was from Maryland, and in 2014, I relocated from Maryland to North Carolina. Now, that was in 2014. I didn't meet or come across Terrence until 4 years later. So this process has started, but one of the stretching is that I had to make the decision to leave Maryland, to relocate to North Carolina. I didn't know it then, but I didn't know I was going to meet my husband there, but I knew that the Lord was stretching me to do something different and to go outside of my comfort zone, because I was very comfortable in Maryland, but yet I was miserable. Yeah. So I knew that I was outgrowing this territory that I was in. So that was a part of the stretching as well.
Look, this next one, number 3 that I'm about to share with you, I'm smiling, but I'm smiling because I'm excited, and I'm excited for you. Mm-hmm. Here's why: because so many of you have told us over the years that we've been on this channel, several of you have told us that it seems like you've been waiting a very long time. It seems like you just don't hear God. Well, guess what? Number 3 is you may experience a season of silence.
Silence.
A season of silence.
Silence.
That's why I'm smiling, because if you're experiencing that, then you need to know that your blessing is right around the corner. What you need to do is stop telling yourself to complain and start telling yourself to praise God, because you are at that point where He's silent and it's on purpose. That's where you start to think, I'm not hearing Him anymore. God has left me. I'm by myself. What happened? Why come I'm not seeing any signs anymore? God ain't left you just because He don't hear you. He left you so you can walk by faith.
There's power in
Show
silence.
Him, yes. There's oh, that's awesome. There's power in silence.
There's power.
And all
in
God
silence.
is looking for right now is for you to show that everything He's built with you up till now hadn't been void. That it's all on good soil, and that you got it and you're living it and you're still walking by faith, although you don't hear Him. So look, don't sit there and look at this as something you got to complain about or moan about or come in agreement with somebody. Because that's what I told you. I said, when I feel like we've gone in a season of silence, the first thing I do is tell myself, don't complain. Don't come into agreement with anybody that's speaking negative. Don't do anything that's going to cross out your blessing.
Because things are happening.
Things are happening. So
things are happening.
A good position if you feel that you're in a season of silence right now.
Mm-hmm. You know how say you order some food. Say you're at a restaurant and it's a carry-out restaurant, and you order some food and the person goes back in the back to fulfill the order, and you're just left there. And you think that they forgotten about you, but no, they're preparing the order. And that is equivalent to the silence. So when I moved to Raleigh, moved from Maryland to Raleigh, I have a sister who was finishing up school in Raleigh. So the first 2 years that I was in Raleigh, not only was my sister there in Raleigh, she was living a couple of miles from me, but because my sister had a newborn baby, my mother was also in Raleigh with us, or with her, to make sure my sister finished school. So my mother was in Raleigh with us for a long time, for those 2 years. Well, in 2016, so I got there in 2014, 2016, my sister finished school and my sister left. She left to go back. My mother and my sister left to go back to Maryland. And when I tell you, I felt like so alone. I was like, and you talking about silence. That was in 2016. 2014 to 2016, I had both of them and my niece. 2016, they left. And I remember the day so vividly when I put them on I-85 to go back north. I felt so alone. I felt like silence. It was just so much. It was, and so there's a difference between being alone and being lonely. Not knowing that 2 years later I was going to come across Terrence. So it was that period between 2016 and 2018. It was silent, but I was being stretched in that area, as well as spiritual warfare was going on. But that's how I knew that, because I had seen how God operate, not just because at that time I was unfamiliar with the marriage part, but I understood how it happened when I bought my home. And, when I got, my dream job, I understood timing. I understood how it looked when seasons came. So I was familiar with how it looked, but it didn't feel good. It still didn't feel good. But I was like, okay, something is happening, because I know God would not just leave me here by myself. I know He wouldn't, and I know He ordered my steps. So yeah, silence is powerful.
Yeah, this is where, like I said, you just got to walk by faith, and you got to stop talking about it and be about it.
Yes,
Okay?
yes,
and be about it. Number four is the alignment increases. Now, this is where God is actually going to work on you from the inside. He's going to work on your character. Okay. This is where He's improving your character. This is where you should come out of this season feeling more hungry for the word. You should come out of feeling like you have a deeper desire, okay, for holiness. You should have a deeper desire to be obedient.
And be in alignment to His will, and what He wants for you.
Your character should grow during this phase. So, look, this is something to be excited about. So, just know that it might be uncomfortable, because again, this is that silent season. But at the same token, you should know that it's building you and you're growing at the same time.
Yeah, I remember. So it had to be, I think, 2016, 2017. Talk about alignment. I remember I went to visit a church because I was like, I want a church. I needed a deeper church. Like Trinity Church is cute, but I need a church that goes deep. Like I need a church that really taps into the spirit realm. And so I went to visit this church, and the pastor called me out. And he said, you have a spirit of Esther on you. And I was like, well, what does that mean? Like, and there's a long prophecy that he said, but you're going to be helping a lot of people break through. I didn't know what that meant, but I knew I wanted it. And I really started tapping into what God was doing in my life. And I really, really wanted what God wanted for me. I really wanted, I was thirsting. I was like, okay, Lord, your perfect will, whatever you want for my life, I want it. I want to do. And I kept saying, yes, Lord, whatever you want for me. Yes, it is a yes. And so I was coming into alignment, into an agreement with what He wanted for me. Didn't know what it was, but I knew that He was doing something. I could feel it in the spirit realm. And then that pastor, he confirmed it. And so, yeah. And then how it started looking on the outside, like it started changing my physical appearance. Like that's when I was like, I want to go natural. It's like I also started to embrace who I was, like as a person. So it was doing an inside change, but He was also doing an outer change. And I started to like get more into my health and walking more. I was just so like in alignment with naturally and supernaturally. It was like I was coming into alignment. It was a weird season, but very unfamiliar, but it was a beautiful season. I was alone. I had one girlfriend, Z, who was, in Raleigh with me, who I met. But it was I was falling in love with God. Like I was falling in love with Jesus. Like, yeah, I was coming to an alignment.
That's awesome. Number 5 is your faith is going to be tested. And what I mean by that right just before God blesses you, He often asks you to be obedient without evidence. Meaning some of you up to this point have seen signs of God doing things on your behalf, and that's been keeping you affirmed. When you get into this season, you're not going to see those affirmations anymore. You're not going to see those confirmations, those signs anymore. You just have to know that God still got you. You have to rely on your faith during this time. This is where you have to say, and I tell people this. This is where I believe our memories will serve us so great.
What did he do before?
What did he do before? Because we know the word says if he does it for this person, he can do it for me. We know the word says if he done it before, he can do it again. All these things that remind you that if God has already done a thing, he can continue to do a thing. So don't forget that just because you don't hear him, just because you don't see him, just because you don't feel him, doesn't mean he's not there. That's when you have to start reminding yourself of all the scriptures that you've read to say, look, he still got you. Just keep believing, keep walking, keep believing, keep walking, keep praying, keep fasting, keep doing the things that got you here. Don't stop doing them. Keep doing them because he's got you.
Yeah.
He's got you.
I think my faith move was getting on a dating app when the guy previously, 10 years prior, it didn't work. And I met him on an app. And 5 years before him, got on a dating app with the guy who I thought I was going to marry, and it didn't work. And so getting back on a dating app, and this is not the faith move that I'm suggesting that y'all make, but me getting on a dating app it was a faith move because everything said it ain't going to work. And this is how deep this is because the dating app didn't work, but it did. So even in the natural, when I got on the dating app, it was dead on arrival because the profile, Terrence's profile was dead. It was outdated. So not only did I make a faith move, but the faith move in the natural said it's a dead situation. But the supernatural, we always say God works in algorithm, God works in technology. He works through all of that. He supersedes all of that. So just making the faith move to say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and sign up for this dating app. When every sign said it ain't going to work, it never works. The probability of getting a healthy marriage is slim. The swiping, the how many times you got to swipe, all that's got data behind it that says it ain't going to work. It was just about me being obedient and I felt it in my spirit that I should do it, and I did it.
And that's why it's called a faith move.
It's a faith move.
Absolutely.
Number six.
And our last one for this evening is there's going to be attacks on your identity. Look, we've been talking about identity since the beginning of this channel. And even during this season here, some of you may feel like your identity is being questioned. Even you might even be thinking, because it's silent, I haven't heard from God.
Maybe God doesn't want me to be married.
Did I read the word right? Does he really mean for me to be married? Or did I just mistake in my interpretation? Did I listen to the wrong person and they fooled me? They bamboozled me? You're going to start questioning your own identity.
Even prophetic words that you may have gotten that you knew at the time was confirmation. You may start to now think, well, maybe that word wasn't for me. Wait, maybe I didn't, that dream wasn't, maybe
I've been waiting too long.
Yeah, maybe I'm not supposed to be married. Maybe I'm just supposed to be an auntie. Maybe I'm just supposed to, maybe I'm supposed to be single. Your identity.
Always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
Maybe I'm just supposed to always be a bridesmaid. The enemy will attack your identity.
Yes.
He will try to make you confused of who God said you are and who God made you to be. We were wired to be wives. whether we choose to be it or not. We came to this earth with purpose. Women and even men, maybe I'm not meant to be, with one woman. Maybe I'm not meant to be, a husband or a father.
Look,
attack of your identity.
It's attack on the identity.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. If you understood where you come from, that long journey to get to this season right here. You've been waiting for this season. Although you didn't expect it to be like this, you've been waiting on this season the entire time you've been in God's waiting room. And now it's here.
That's right.
Don't let doubt creep into your mind just because you haven't heard something.
Or that it's spiritual. You got to know when it's spiritual warfare. You've got to know, you've got to be able to tap into the spirit realm to see what's really going on. You got to start to see God operates in seasons. So you've got to know when your season, and it's not just for marriage, but it's for any elevation. When it's time to be elevated to the next level, you've got to know what that looks like in the spirit realm, because if not, you're going to continue to miss it. You're going to continue to fall for the tricks and schemes of the enemy and miss it. And so someone had made a comment and says they don't believe that we can delay a thing. And we definitely can delay a thing. The great thing is that God redeems the time. So once we come into alignment with him, but we can, because we have free will. So we can delay a thing. We can delay a thing by, just choosing to delay just because we feel we're not ready for it. We said we could delay a thing just by what we say out of our mouths. That's why you got to also be it was one of these things. I think it was coming into alignment. Watch who you come into agreement with. Watch you. You got to make sure that you're in agreement with the Lord's will and not with what other people are saying, because you can delay what God wants to do. His word says no good thing will he withhold from you if you walk up right before him. And so, so if you want it, God has it for you. These some things that enemy going to try to do to try to stop it. These are some of the things that's probably going to happen that make you think that in the natural, it's not happening. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for the enemy.
The biggest thing that you do, or that most of you have experienced before, when you have delayed, is when you repeat a cycle.
Which
and
the
you
enemy
sit there and say, I keep attracting the same type of people. Why? Because you're not learning the lesson.
Yeah, the enemy works in cycles. And the Lord works in seasons. And so when you keep repeating cycles, that's an indication that you're out of alignment. That's why you need to get the ebook. Make sure you get the ebook. It's an indication that you're out of alignment. And so, but when you're in alignment, these things can happen. These things are going to happen. These things, and so you've got to know.
These things aren't eliminated.
Right. These things are, but you're in alignment. At that point, we were just saying, at that point, you should be joyful. When these things start to happen, you should be in such a joyful, like, I know the Lord is working.
You skipping around the house.
You skipping, yes.
Jumping up and down.
I know he is working.
You should be, yes, you should be ecstatic right now with excitement. You should be so enthusiastic right now. But why? Because you know your blessing is coming.
In that season. You know that season is upon you. You know it's upon you. He said, at that point, I would strongly suggest you going to prayer, have regular fasting, because there's some things that need to be pushed through the spirit realm, things that probably your future spouse may be held up in, that you need to come into agreement with the Lord to help push your future spouse through. It could be anything. It could be a financial, hiccup with your future spouse. It could be anything. It could be an ex that's trying to entertain him or her. But so at that point, you know that you need to press in. You need to press in with the Lord, because it's like giving birth. It's like, that you're about to deliver your baby, but you got contractions now. You in the season of it's contractions, and then you go into the season of pushing, delivery. And so that's what's happening, and that's how God designed a thing. It's everything is in seasons for him. So
yeah. So look, we're telling you before you receive your blessing, you're going to go through a season that may make you question everything you've learned up to this point. And what we're saying is, this is not the time to give in to that doubt. This is the time to put that seatbelt on. This is the time to just dig deep down and say, I'm here.
Yeah, be careful who's in your ear.
Yes.
You want the right people around you, because something about the break in the spirit realm.
Yes.
Something is coming through. That blessing is coming through.
And because you are aware of this, you know, the word says to everything there's a season. Mm-hmm. So when this season comes, you should say, Lord, I've been expecting this.
Yes,
I've been waiting on it.
I hear you, Lord. Even the sounds, I hear you, Lord. I hear you, Lord. Yes. It's all yes, Lord. Yep. That's when you press in.
That's when you press in.
Yep. Yeah. Ooh. All right. This is the video up here. Make sure y'all watch this next video. It will bless you.
So with that being said, we look so forward to seeing you guys in our next video.
Yes. And don't forget to catch us on live every Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. Peace.